The story of room 428 at Ohio University begins the way most disturbing truths do, quietly. Almost politely. Whispered in the corners of old residence halls. Buried inside incident reports and late-night conversations that everyone denies having the next morning. Wilson Hall looks ordinary from the outside. Red brick walls. White trimmed windows. A rectangular building like thousands of others on American campuses. Students walk past it every day without thinking twice. Unaware that behind one particular door on the fourth floor lies something the university has tried, and failed, to explain for almost half a century. That door bears the number 428. For decades, the room has remained locked. Not because of renovations or safety violations, but because of the accumulation of events too strange, too consistent, and too unnerving to be ignored. A room that photographs distort. Where digital thermometers malfunction. Where even the air seems to vibrate with a low, almost imperceptible hum. Tonight, we step inside, not physically, but through the testimonies, leaked reports, and dark science analyses collected over the years. And once we enter, the door will close behind us. Quietly, like it always does. The origin of the room's reputation traces back to the fall semester of 1978. When a third-year psychology major moved into 428. Her name has never been released. She was known for being quiet, studious, and intensely fascinated by consciousness, altered states, and ancient rituals. According to her professors, she was researching the boundaries between hallucinatory perception and reality, how the mind invents shapes when exposed to certain acoustic frequencies. Neighbors later said they heard her chanting in the dead of night in a language that sounded almost musical. Rhythmic, like a forgotten dialect. She kept notebooks filled with symbols that no one could decipher after her death. On a storm-lashed October night, she stayed in her room for hours without emerging. The next morning, after she failed to appear for her midterm, campus security broke down the door. She was lying in the center of the room, eyes wide open, pupils blown so large they consumed almost the entire iris. Her body showed no signs of struggle, no trauma, no toxins. She looked as if she had died of terror, pure, unfiltered terror, while staring at something directly above her. The only surviving page of her notebook contained a strange sentence. There is a frequency not meant for human ears, but it speaks through bone. The university officially listed her death as acute autonomic dysfunction. Unofficially, no one believed that. After her, 11 students occupied room 428 between 1979 and 2005. None stayed longer than a semester. They complained of the same things. Objects shifting position overnight without a sound. The sensation of someone standing beside the bed while they slept. Shadows that seemed to stretch toward them from the corners of the room. Some felt the atmosphere thicken, like being submerged underwater. Others claimed the mirror fogged up even when the room was cold and dry. As if someone exhaled against the glass. One student said he woke to find his desk turned at a perfect 45-degree angle. Yet the carpet beneath it showed no drag marks, no disturbance. Another swore he saw a figure at the far end of the room. Every time he blinked, the figure seemed a little closer. Until finally he turned on the light and everything vanished. These weren't isolated incidents, they were patterns. In 2002, an internal security report, later leaked, recorded a series of anomalies in room 428. Officers responding to noise requests heard soft laughter from inside the locked room. Motion sensors detected movement when no one was there. At 2:17 a.m., hall cameras captured a tall, elongated shadow sliding toward the door of 428. It didn't walk, it glided, pausing for 14 seconds before dissolving, pixel by pixel, into the grain of the footage. One guard, unable to sleep for days afterward, scribbled a note at the bottom of the report. Do not assign students here. We cannot contain this. Researchers who later conducted off-the-record investigations found that Wilson Hall was built over a former burial ground of the Shawnee tribe. Geological surveys showed a rare convergence of magnetic fields beneath the building, particularly strong under room 428. This area produced electromagnetic readings almost 7 times higher than any other room. Even stranger, audio equipment detected a constant infrasound resonance around 19 Hz, a frequency known to cause feelings of dread. visual distortions, and hallucinations of shadowy figures at the edges of vision. The human ear can't hear 19 Hz. But the human body can feel it. The skull can resonate with it. And the mind, sensitive, fragile, uncertain, can react in ways that feel supernatural. In 2018, a temporary housing shortage pushed a sophomore named Marcus into room 428 for just 2 nights. On the first night, he heard the faint rustling of paper. Though the windows were shut tight, he described the sensation of a presence, not breathing, not walking, simply existing, in the darkness above him. On the second night, he watched a figure stand against the wall, its head bent sideways at an impossible angle. Light revealed nothing. Darkness revealed everything. Marcus moved out the next morning and withdrew his request for on-campus housing entirely. By 2020, a team of independent investigators specializing in dark-frequency anomalies snuck into Wilson Hall with thermal cameras, vibration detectors, and electromagnetic scanners. In the first 21 minutes, temperature inside the sealed room dropped abruptly by 6 degrees Celsius. The motion detector activated despite the room being empty. A thermal imager captured a long, thin silhouette near the corner, too tall to be human, too misshapen to be a trick of the camera. Microphones recorded a persistent hum fluctuating precisely at 19 Hz. When amplified, the hum sounded eerily like a whisper, not spoken through air, but transmitted directly through vibration. Some experts in fringe consciousness research developed a hypothesis. Room 428 doesn't contain a ghost. It contains a conceptual entity, a non-physical phenomenon born from overlapping electromagnetic fields, infrasound pulses, and layers of human fear accumulated over decades. Not alive, not dead, not intelligent in the human sense, but aware in the way a storm is aware, or a deep ocean trench is aware, through pressure, resonance, and distortion. A presence that doesn't want to harm anyone. It only wants to be perceived. And human perception collapses under the weight of something it was never meant to interpret. In 2022, a student recorded an 11-second TikTok video on the 4th floor of Wilson Hall. Near the end of the clip, the sealed door of room 428 opened by roughly 2 centimeters. Behind the narrow slit, at the perfect frame between light and shadow, viewers claimed to see the suggestion of a face, elongated, tilted unnaturally. Watching, the video vanished from social media within 24 hours. The university said nothing. They never do. Today, room 428 remains locked behind double steel latches. The paint around the door slightly discolored, as if the wood beneath it breathes in slow, uneven intervals. Students avoid the 4th floor after midnight, though no one can explain why. Some swear they hear faint whispers when passing by. Others hear tapping from the inside. Most hear nothing, which is somehow worse. Because silence is not safety. Silence is pressure. Silence is something waiting behind the door. And if a room is sealed not to protect the building from what's outside, but to protect the rest of the building from what's inside, then one question remains. If room 428 is locked to keep people out, what is inside trying so desperately to get in?